What's going on, everyone? So we saw the Boston Celtics trade Jrue Holiday, and one of the other players that is on that list was Kristaps Porzingis. Two players that they are actively trying to get off of right now were Jrue Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. They were successful in getting off of Jrue Holiday. Kristaps Porzingis, they are currently shopping with several teams, including the Lakers, in the mix to try and acquire Kristaps Porzingis. They are fielding offers on basically everybody, Jaylen Brown as well as Derek White. I would love to get Derek White on the Lakers. I just don't think the Lakers will be able to actually acquire him, but they kind of want like crazy offers for those guys where they're kind of just willing to get off of Porzingis as well as Jrue Holiday, as you saw in the Jrue Holiday trade. Although Boston absolutely fleeced the Portland Trailblazers, in my opinion. Unless Portland's doing something else or some other plans are in the works, I don't really get that, right? Like, I get wanting Jrue Holiday for a young team, but I don't know why you'd give up Alferne Simons plus picks. If it was just like a swap, I get it. You already tried to trade Alferne Simons, didn't work out, but I digress. Point is, if you want more details on that, go check out my the full video over on my NBA channel. But Kristaps Porzingis, look, he is a fantastic player. I would love to have him on the Lakers. On paper, he would be ideal. A guy that can protect the rim, spread the floor, be a lob threat, 7'2", right? He's got what I think like a 7'7" wingspan or something like that, right? Like the guy is so versatile. I mean, he's a guy that would slot in beautifully next to LeBron and Luka. He's making just under $31 million, but he's on an expiring contract. So there is some low risk, high reward there to where if the Lakers were to go and make a trade for him, right, he could solve your center position, give you some rim protection. Not really, in my opinion, I have concerns about him long-term, like the long-term acquisition of him. He is on the right side of 30. He'll be 30 going into next season. He'll turn 30 on August 2nd. But, he's a guy that you could get, right? I don't think he's going to get 30 plus million again. I really don't, right? Given his injury history. We'll talk about the pros here. The only reason I don't want the Lakers to do it, and I think the Lakers should stay away from Kristaps Porzingis, is the guy can't stay healthy. The guy is averaging 42 games for his career. He's literally averaging half of a season every season. The most games the guy has ever played was in his first 2 years of his career, right? And he's not healthy come playoff time. So it's not like one of those things where it's like, he's not healthy during the regular season, but he's a lock come playoffs, right? Like, he's not even that. Also, does Luka and Porzingis, right? Because they tried that experiment in Dallas, and that didn't really work out, right? Could that, there were, like, how are their relationship, right? Because there were some talks and murmurs about they didn't really kind of get along too great, but, Luka and Porzingis kind of both came out and said, like, no, that wasn't the case. Just, it just was bad timing type thing. Like, so I don't know, maybe things have changed, right? Sure. To me, it boils down to what is the cost. If you can get him essentially cheap because Boston's like, hey, we just want to get something for him, right? And you can maybe, match salaries and give up the 55th pick in the draft, right? And basically get him for nothing, then sure. Or even if it's like the 55th in a pick swap, right? Sure. Because in all honesty, Kristaps Porzingis the guy is a 20-point a game guy on like 14 to 10. Like, the guy is everything that you need. Can block shots, defend on the perimeter. The guy can do everything out there, but it's just, again, I see a lot of people that want Lauri Markkanen on the Lakers, right? Lauri Markkanen. Kristaps Porzingis is a better Lauri Markkanen, right? I would rather have Kristaps Porzingis. But again, Kristaps Porzingis can't stay healthy. That's literally my only reason and issue why I don't want him. The only way is if you could get him cheap, right? Essentially, you're just swapping players and clearing off, and maybe giving up, like I said, a second and a pick swap, right? To where it's essentially you have all your assets, you have everything, and worst case scenario, he's a $31 million expiring contract at the trade deadline. Sure, I'm okay with something like that. But what does he give you? What would he bring and provide a team like the Lakers? Well, he's last season averaged 42 games. Again, this is a guy for his career. Games averaged 42 a season. Points 19.5, 6.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists. Right? So again, you're talking about a guy who for his career is only giving you around 40 games a season, 42 games a season. So like, here, let's go. I want to highlight this even further, right? The most games he's ever played in a season was 72 games. The second most games he's ever played in a season were 66 games. That was his first and second year in the league. Since then, after those first 2 years, 48 games played, missed an entire season, 57 games, 43 games, 51 games, 37 games, the 51 games was Dallas and Washington combined, 65 games, 57 games, 42 games. The most he has played since his first 2 years is one season, his last season with Washington, in which he played 65 games. Right? That's crazy to me. I just, that's my problem. The best ability is availability. As much as I would love to have Kristaps Porzingis, the best ability is availability. If he's giving you 65 games a season and you get into the playoffs and he's fully healthy, perfect. Sign me up. Problem is, we don't have that crystal ball to be able to go, yes, he's going to be, like, we don't know. Boston won an NBA championship, and he played literally less than half the games that he could have played in the postseason, and they were bringing him off the bench in limited minutes. They essentially won a championship without him, right? Like, Lakers would need him. They wouldn't be in that position to go get him. Now, again, you look at guys like Robert Williams, the Lakers are linked to. Like, you would have to go get another. If you got a Clint Capella or something, right, and then went and traded for Kristaps Porzingis, then sure. Especially if you can get him cheaper than, say, like a Nick Claxton or something like that, then sure, right? Because it's like, Nick Claxton's making $27 million. Basically, you'd have to give up one, like a Shake Milton is the difference. It's like, okay, give up the Shake Milton if you have to. Go get a Kristaps Porzingis. He's on expiring contracts. Worst case scenario, you maintain the flexibility going forward. Best case scenario, he's healthy and he works out, and then you're really good. And then, but you need that guy that you need, maybe even two, right? You probably need a Clint Capella, and if it's Jackson Hayes or whatever, fine, then it's Jackson Hayes or whatever. But you're going to need two centers for sure, because you just can't run the risk of Kristaps Porzingis missing half the season. And it's like, now we're riding with Jackson Hayes all year, or, Christian Koloko or something like that all year. No, if you go get Kristaps Porzingis, you have to get another center, whether you're trading for one or signing one in free agency. I don't care, but you have to make that happen. But again, if you can get Kristaps Porzingis for the right price, like if you can get him cheap enough, sure. Low risk, high reward at that point, right? But if you have to give up Connect and a first and all this other stuff, good luck to you. Keep Kristaps Porzingis. Maybe another team will pony up, right? There's several teams that supposedly are interested in him. But again, 42 games played, 42 games started, 28.8 minutes per game. He's averaging 13.7 field goal attempts per game, which is good and worth noting, because if he was a guy that was taking 20 plus field goal attempts a game, it's a problem, because his production is probably not going to be the same, because he's going to a team like the Lakers where he's probably going to be the third or fourth option at best, right? Because he's not going to be over Luka and LeBron. And if the Lakers keep Austin Reeves, he's not going to be over Austin Reeves, right? So right there, that's three guys that he would not probably be over. So he'd basically be the fourth option, which means he's probably only getting around 13 to 14 field goal attempts per game. So the fact that he averaged 13.7 last year is huge. That's important. But 48.3% from the field, 41.2% from three-point range on 6 attempts last year. He is a career 37% three-point shooter on 5 attempts, so he's always been a really good three-point shooter, guy that gives you the floor spacing. Again, he's got long length. He could be that lob threat for you. Gives you a little bit of everything. 2-point range, 7.7 attempts. Shot 53.7% from the field. EFG of 57.2%. Free throw shooting, he was just a hair, like literally a hair, under 81%. He is a career 83% guy on 4.7 attempts. And then he averaged 6.8 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and 1.5 blocks per game, along with 19.5 points. So the guy is ultra efficient, right? Very efficient. He's a guy that, the quality, imagine the quality of, he would get better looks with the Lakers than he has even with Boston, right? Because again, you'd be playing alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James. He would get wide, and I mean wide open looks. Right? And he's kind of like the perfect blend for like a LeBron and a Luka center, right? Because LeBron likes the floor spacing bigs, right? Kevin Love, Chris Bosh, guys like that, right? Anthony Davis, because he likes to put his head down, bully his way to the basket, and then kick out to shooters, right? And if you have that guy that's clogging the paint, kind of makes it hard. Where Luka likes the guy that's that lob threat, that he's fine with the paint being clogged because he wants to create that dribble penetration, get in the teeth of defense, have the defense collapse, and then have that easy outlet. And if they don't collapse, then now they're on an island and they're cooked, and Luka's just going to rip them apart, right? So Kristaps Porzingis kind of gives you the best of both, right? He gives you that floor spacing big that when LeBron's on the court and if he's operating as like the main guy on the court, the main shot creator on the court, well, then guess what? You can have Kristaps kind of play more of a pick and pop game, drive and kick type game. But when Luka's on the basketball court, you could have him kind of slotted into that dunker spot. He could just throw it up and hammer it home. If you can get Kristaps Porzingis cheap, get him cheap. I would probably prefer to stay away from him because I just think you're going to have to give up more than what you'd prefer. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So if you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.